A serious vulnerability in Adobe Experience Manager has been flagged by the U.S. Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, raising alarms due to its active exploitation. This flaw, identified as CV 2025-54253, has garnered a perfect severity score of 10.0, indicating its potential for significant impact. Discovered on October 16, 2025, this misconfiguration issue affects AEM forms on versions 6.5.23.0 and earlier. It allows attackers to execute arbitrary code without authentication, leveraging a dangerously exposed servlet. Adobe has released a patch for this issue, but it's critical for federal agencies to implement these fixes by November 5, 2025, to mitigate risks. Next, we'll delve into the specifics of this vulnerability and discuss what organizations can do to protect themselves. If you found this update helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to InfoSec Now for the latest cybersecurity news. Your support really helps us continue building useful content for cybersecurity professionals. On October 16, 2025, the U.S. Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA, officially added the critical vulnerability CV 2025-54253 to its known exploited vulnerabilities (KEV) catalog. This action highlights the urgency and severity of the flaw, as it is under active exploitation. The vulnerability is particularly concerning due to its potential for arbitrary code execution, which can lead to significant system compromise. The flaw stems from a misconfiguration involving the /admin/debug servlet in Adobe Experience Manager (AEM) forms, specifically affecting versions 6.5.23.0 and earlier. This servlet evaluates user-supplied OGNL expressions as Java code without any authentication or validation, creating a severe security risk. Security experts have noted that such exposure allows attackers to execute arbitrary system commands through a single crafted HTTP request, making it a highly exploitable vector. In response to the discovery, Adobe issued a patch in August 2025, which addressed this vulnerability alongside another related issue, CV 2025-54254. This latter vulnerability involves an XML external entity, XXE, injection, further underscoring the critical security landscape surrounding AEM forms. Despite the patch, the existence of a publicly available proof of concept for CV 2025-54253 raises concerns about the potential for widespread exploitation. As a precaution, CISA has urged federal civilian executive branch agencies to implement the necessary fixes by November 5, 2025, to mitigate the risk posed by this flaw. The addition of CV 2025-54253 to the KEV catalog coincides with CISA's broader efforts to address emerging threats, as demonstrated by their recent inclusion of another critical vulnerability affecting CISA client view. This pattern indicates a heightened focus on vulnerabilities that could enable remote code execution, reflecting ongoing challenges in cybersecurity resilience. The vulnerability CV 2025-54253 is primarily characterized by its exploitation of a misconfigured servlet within Adobe Experience Manager forms, specifically the /admin/debug endpoint. This endpoint allows attackers to submit Object Graph Navigation Language (OGNL) expressions directly, which are then executed as Java code. The lack of authentication and input validation for this servlet significantly lowers the barrier for attackers, enabling them to execute arbitrary system commands with a single crafted HTTP request. This flaw's critical nature is underscored by the fact that it enables remote code execution, a high-risk capability that can lead to unauthorized access and control over affected systems. The implications extend beyond individual systems, as compromised AEM installations could serve as launchpads for broader attacks within an organization's network. The existence of a public proof of concept further complicates the situation, as it provides potential attackers with a roadmap to exploit the vulnerability. This availability heightens the urgency for organizations to implement the recommended patches, especially given that the vulnerability has been added to the CISA's known exploited vulnerabilities catalog. Adobe's response included a patch in version 6.5.0-0108, released in August 2025, but the timeline for remediation is critical. Federal civilian executive branch agencies have a deadline of November 5, 2025, to apply these fixes, highlighting the need for swift action to mitigate the risk of exploitation. As organizations assess their cybersecurity posture in light of this vulnerability, it is essential to conduct thorough audits of their AEM installations and ensure that all security measures are up to date. The ongoing threat landscape necessitates vigilance and proactive measures to defend against such critical vulnerabilities. As organizations navigate the implications of the critical Adobe AEM flaw, it is essential to assess the potential risks to their operations and data security. The vulnerability CV 2025-54253 presents a significant threat due to its ability to enable arbitrary code execution, which can lead to unauthorized access and manipulation of sensitive information. Organizations using affected versions of Adobe Experience Manager must prioritize immediate action to mitigate the risk. With the U.S. Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency advising federal civilian executive branch agencies to apply fixes by November 5, 2025, there is a pressing need for all organizations to evaluate their software versions and implement necessary updates without delay. In addition to immediate patching, companies should conduct thorough assessments of their security protocols and incident response plans. The existence of a publicly available proof of concept for this vulnerability means that attackers may be actively seeking out unpatched systems, highlighting the need for vigilance and proactive monitoring of network activity. Moreover, the misconfiguration aspect of this flaw underscores the importance of robust security configurations and regular audits. Organizations should invest in training for their IT staff to ensure they are equipped to identify and address similar vulnerabilities in the future. Finally, this incident serves as a reminder of the ever-evolving landscape of cybersecurity threats. Organizations must remain adaptable, continually assessing their security posture and staying informed about emerging vulnerabilities and exploits to safeguard their digital assets effectively. In response to the critical vulnerability CV 2025-54253, organizations utilizing Adobe Experience Manager are urged to take immediate action. First and foremost, it is essential for affected users to upgrade their systems to version 6.5.0-0108 or later, which addresses this flaw and mitigates the risk of exploitation. This timely update is particularly crucial given the active exploitation reported by CISA. Organizations should also conduct a thorough assessment of their current security posture. This includes reviewing access controls and ensuring that sensitive endpoints, such as the /admin/debug servlet, are properly secured and not exposed to unauthorized users. Implementing strict input validation measures will help prevent similar misconfigurations in the future. Furthermore, it is advisable for companies to establish an incident response plan that specifically addresses vulnerabilities of this nature. Regular training sessions for IT staff on recognizing and responding to security threats can enhance organizational resilience against cyber attacks. To maintain ongoing security, organizations should stay informed about future vulnerabilities and patches released by Adobe and other critical software providers. Engaging with threat intelligence services can provide valuable insights into emerging threats and exploitation techniques, allowing for proactive defenses. Finally, collaboration with cybersecurity agencies and participation in information-sharing platforms can facilitate a community-wide response to vulnerabilities, enhancing overall security for all users of Adobe Experience Manager. If you found this update helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to InfoSec Now for the latest cybersecurity news. Your support really helps us continue building useful content for cybersecurity professionals.